And tomorrow I'll be in Santa Clara for the local pro day. We really don't know who's going to be there because I don't know which of these guys is from the Bay Area and which of them are going to participate as far as high school. Stanford, I'm thinking of their pro class. I don't think of a lot of the guys. San Jose State might have one or two. I know Cal's probably got one or two, but I'm not really sure who's going to be there. But then it came out this afternoon from our good friends Matt Barrows that Kellen Mond is going to be trying out during the Niners local pro day. What do you think of that news?
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I mean, if you follow 49ers Twitter, Grant Cohn a couple of years back said this is the 49ers answer at quarterback, Kellen Mond. So, he's probably excited about that news. But I mean, Kellen Mond doesn't move the needle to me. But it's interesting that he's trying out because they got Josh Dobbs, right, a couple weeks ago. They still have Brandon Allen. They signed him they re signed him. So they have their three quarterbacks. Would they go and get Kellen Mond, make him the fourth quarterback, see if they can compete? But they still draft a quarterback in the draft. So it is a little interesting to see that they might have picked up. They have a tryout for Mon, so maybe emergency situation. They'll kick the tires on him. Maybe down the line they could bring him in as a practice squad. We'll see. I thought that was interesting. Another guy that's supposed to be there, um, Terrell Owens' son. He's apparently supposed to be there. I think Matt Barrows reported that last week too. So those are the two guys that stick out to me.
I don't know much about it's Tariq Owens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that his
Yeah.
name?
Yes.
Is he a player?
He's Terrell Owens' son. He's got to have some speed.
Got to have something.
Yeah.
Kellen Mond is interesting. He was a third round pick by the Vikings in the 2021 draft and then played 2021 with the Vikings, 2022 with the Browns, 2023 with the Colts. He's never thrown an NFL touchdown. He's, I was am an A&M fan, so I watched him in college. He was pretty good in college. He's just a little mechanical. He's not really fluid in anything that he does. But he put up some good numbers at Texas A&M. It wasn't like he was a bum at Texas A&M. He played in 46 college games, completed 59%, which is not great. 71 touchdowns, though, 27 interceptions, and also ran for 1,600 yards in his career with 22 rushing touchdowns. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of think of the Niners as done at quarterback. You've got Dobbs and Allen backing up Brock Purdy. So maybe somebody's going to compete for a spot on the practice squad, maybe a practice squad quarterback.
That's what I was thinking, practice squad, or maybe compete with Brandon Allen for that third spot. Although, I mean, Allen, he was there last year. You would think he's kind of a shoo-in for that third spot. But with the 49ers history, with quarterbacks, it's never a bad thing to at least evaluate quarterbacks and kick the tires on someone. Like you said, maybe they just keep him on the practice squad and have him ace in the hole. Who maybe Brandon Allen gets hurt, I don't know, and then you need a third quarterback. So that's the way I look at it. Just someone for backup, emergency. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, Kellen Mond's going to resurrect his career with the 49ers. I don't think any of that. Like you said, he really hasn't panned out in the league, in the NFL. Third round pick, I thought that was pretty high. I thought, okay, maybe he's going to get a shot to be the guy with the Vikings, and he just didn't have the tools. I remember seeing him. I think we played them in a preseason game a couple years back, and Javon Kinlaw, he sacked him in the game, and I was like, okay, this guy's bad. Kellen Mond's not good.
Well, the Vikings drafted him 66th overall, so that's pretty high. And then he appeared in one game as a rookie. He completed 2 of his 3 passes for 5 yards, and those were the only 3 offensive snaps of his NFL career outside of the preseason. The Browns claimed him off waivers ahead of the 2022 season. He spent last season on the Colts practice squad, and he's currently a free agent. I think he's probably smart to want to take a look at the Niners. I wonder if they will, actually add him to to their camp roster and bring him in they're almost always going to bring 4 quarterbacks to camp. So I could be happy with Kellen Mond as the 4th quarterback in camp this summer. I think that could make some sense, as opposed to using a draft pick on a quarterback.
Yeah, at least he's got some NFL game, experience a little bit here and there. He knows how a NFL room works, locker room works. So yeah, over a late round draft pick, I guess he might be a better option. Although, I mean, Brock Purdy was a seventh round pick. So at the end of the day, it's just a fourth quarterback. I don't think much of it, but it is interesting that they're actually giving him a tryout tomorrow. So we'll
Yeah,
see how
I mean,
that
he's
ends.
somewhat high profile.
Yeah.
Matt Mayoko has tweeted out, in addition to those invited to take part in the 49ers local pro day Wednesday, veteran tryouts are expected with Kellen Mond. Also, tight ends Curtis Hodges, who went to Arizona State, Hunter Camp Moyer, who from Oregon, and Tommy Sweeney from Boston College. So, the 49ers, Raj, I think are definitely looking at that tight end spot.
Yeah.
They added Eric Sobert. What'd you think of that signing? I mean, they tried to go for the Lions backup tight end, but the Lions decided to match, um, and instead they went with Eric Sobert. Do you think? I think personally that Cam Latu is going to bounce back with a good camp. I really don't think Cam Latu is nearly as bad as the player that we saw last summer, and I expect him to bounce back. But it sounds like they're kind of looking to kind of stack their tight end depth chart going into at least going into the draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've been looking for a veteran tight end. I think they missed big when they couldn't get Brock Wright. I think that was the guy they really wanted. He has good receiver characteristics. I know he wasn't used a lot as a receiver, but he did have some good yak ability. Sober, I mean, I think they needed to get a veteran because they missed out on Brock Wright. So that was there. They needed a guy that can block. They lost Charlie Warner. I think they really liked his blocking ability. So they grabbed Sober. He's not a bad blocker. He was in line with some of the top blocking tight ends, according to the analytics. So I think that's a need they needed. They did draft two young tight ends last year. They didn't pan out. We'll see. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pressure on those two guys because they didn't re-sign Ross Dwelly either. So the 49ers definitely are looking to bolster that tight end department. George Kittle's not getting any younger, Larry. He's getting closer to my age, which is never a good thing. So at the end of the day, George Kittle, he needs some help out there. He can't continue to do everything on his own. So yeah, you need some veteran tight ends. I still think they're going to draft one. It is not like you said. You noted Matt Mayoko said there's going to be some tight end tryouts tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if they go and sign one of them afterwards because it looks like they're still trying to get that extra depth. Again, Ross Dwelly's not back, so you need another veteran tight end if you're going to replace him. And you
So,
hope that those youngsters that you drafted last year pan out because Cam Latu, he basically a redshirt year last year, and then was the other guy Braden Willis? He didn't
right.
really look too hot. Yeah.
Sobert 6'5", about 250. The Falcons drafted him in the 5th round in the 2017 draft. He's had a 7-year career. Falcons, Bears, Jags, Broncos, Cowboys, Texans. It's a lot of teams in a short amount of time. He appeared in 84 games, 16 starts. He's had 36 receptions, 292 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Last year, he appeared in 10 games, only 1 start with Dallas and Houston, and finished with 3 receptions for 12 yards. He's approaching 30. He's a 29-year-old native of Chicago, Illinois, went to Drake University. So we'll see.